Welcome to Python for traders and investors. In the previous video, we showed you how to read data using an API. In this video, we will learn how to read data from files. For a successful analyst, it is essential to be able to read and process data from different sources. So let's get started. The most basic and common form of storing data in files is comma-separated values, also known as CSVs. This format comprises rows of data, each containing a set of values separated by commas. Occasionally, we also encounter tabs, spaces, semicolons, and other separators. Here we have a typical example of a CSV file. In the first row, we often find a header, in other words, the column names. In the last video, we talked about downloading data from APIs. This usually takes a long time considering the amount of historical and market data being downloaded. It is often a good idea to save the downloaded data as CSV files for process and analysis later on. To save the data we downloaded last time, which was called myData, as a CSV file, we simply use the function toCSV and call the new file output.csv. Note that we give this file a .csv extension in order to make the format of the file easily recognizable. Commercial data providers, such as Reuters or Bloomberg, commonly provide their files in this format too. To read a CSV file stored locally or converting it back into a pandas data frame for use in our quantitative analysis, we can use readCSV from the pandas library, which needs to be imported first. Next, the head function is useful in viewing the first lines of the freshly produced data frame for inspection. We should always check our data frame produced from the CSV file, as errors can sometimes occur due to inconsistent formatting. Here are some of the practicalities one should consider when converting CSV files. First, data frequently contain blank lines, missing data or bad symbols, etc. And such imperfections need to be dealt with in order to produce successful quantitative analysis. Next, the data cleaning process can often take up a large proportion of the time spent on the quantitative work and can often be unavoidable manual process. Finally, financial data files can often be huge, and we may need to consider splitting them up or reading them line by line, rather than storing them all in memory at once. Let's get started by reading a text file line by line. We first need to open the file for reading by adding the R flag to the command. Next, we assign a file identifier FID to the open file, which points to the physical location of the file in memory. Finally, we use the readLine command to read one single line of the file at a time. To avoid running the readLine command multiple times, we can run a so-called for loop, where we specify how many times we want to execute the readLine command, and we use print to display the result of what we have read. In order to see what's happening under the hood of the for loop, let's inspect the range function first. It runs through a specified number of items, and for each item, it does the task specified underneath. In our case, we specify our items with range 5. Let's see what that does on its own. We assign the variable I to each item of range 5 and print out each I to see what it contains. Note that in most programming languages, running code inside a loop, a function, or a condition requires brackets. Python uses indentations instead, which can make the code more readable. In the next example, we keep the print statement outside of the loop, as seen by the indentation. The pass statement inside the loop is only a placeholder because Python subroutines cannot be empty. It means run the loop by do nothing. After completion of the loop, his block of code prints the last value of I, which is 4, after running the loop 5 times. Well done! We learned how to save and read CSV files, how to use a for loop, and how to read a text file line by line. In the next video, we show you how to convert lines of comma-separated text into something more useful. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you soon.